Mystery.
We're back again for our next edition of Fooventures. And we just gave you a teaser and asking you if you knew where we were today at Oatland Island. Those of you that have been here before. Does anybody know where we are? Type your answers in. We're sheltered.
Oatland Island Wildlife Center.
We are at Oatland Island Wildlife Center,
Yep.
Live streaming.
Georgia,
We are.
United States.
Whose exhibit are we in, Mr. E?
We're in the 9-banded armadillo exhibit. Discipus novum cinctus.
Discipus novum cinctus. So we have two little armadillos running around right now. We're going to make sure you see them if you don't see them at this moment. They might be a little camera shy because they just went and ducked underneath a log as soon as we started rolling.
One's doing number 2, I think that's why.
Armadillo. That name, armadillo. Does anybody out there know what armadillo means? Armadillo. You can probably guess.
In Espanol.
Yeah, in Espanol.
They were named by Spanish conquistadors when they came over to the Americas.
Okay, anybody out there? Any guesses out there? Is anybody out there? Give me a thumb up if you're out there listening. Armadillo is the little armored one.
Armadillo.
The little
Armadillo.
armored one. That's what the name means. And you probably are familiar with the 3-banded armadillo, right? Hi, Leslie.
Dr. Mailer.
Dr.
tuning
Mailer's
in.
with us.
Logan from NC. Nice to see you.
Do you guys know your vet's watching?
Yeah.
They're walking around. They just went ducked underneath the log. Sorry, Leslie. They heard the name vet. No, just kidding. I'm gonna grab one. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna come a little closer so you can get a nice, good, close look at. I think this is Rocky. This is Rocky, our girl. Hi.
So-
Say hi to the people out there, Rocky.
What you're looking at is the belly, which a lot of people don't see. The exposed belly is covered in hair. That gives you a little bit of a hint on what type of animal they are. They're a vertebrate, of course, but they kind of look a little reptilian with those scales and scutes. But they are not a scaly, scooted reptile. They are a bony, scooted, covered mammal of all things. So very interesting. They are related to the xenarthans. So if you think about our anteaters, they kind of look like an anteater, or even sloths. They're related to those. But these guys specifically are related to an extinct group of animals that had very bony plates on their back, just like them, and that were very, very big. So they're very small now, and they've actually changed their diet. They used to be, way back when, millions of years ago, herbivores, and now they are insectivores.
I want to say hi to some people out there. They're tuning in. We have Aria and Reese.
Ooh.
Hello from Pace, Florida. Thanks for joining us.
FLA in the house.
We want to just thank the Keener family for being such attentive. I know you're not Keeners, but you are to us because Pam Keener is our person. We love her. But thank you for joining us, all of you out there. So I moved their log a little bit closer so maybe you can see what they're doing. Remember to type in your questions, interact with us, tell us things that you want to tell us. Say hello, tell us where you are. So far, Florida's in the house. It's our farthest away state. We have Elena Abbey.
I think North Carolina is farther than Florida.
We have North Carolina, didn't we
Yeah.
realize we had North Carolina? And we have Eric's parents here from Illinois.
Yeah.
They got snow.
Aspen asked a really, really good question about, do they really curl up in a ball and roll like they do in cartoons? They do have a lot of defense mechanisms, but the 9-band specifically cannot roll up into a ball. Michelle mentioned the 3-banded armadillo. The 3-banded armadillo can roll up into a ball and tuck his little head in, and they can actually roll, but it wouldn't be like rolling for them to move around and get places. It would be if a predator was batting them around or pushing them around trying to get inside. So it's a defense mechanism, and typically they wouldn't do that unless they were going to be predated on. Someone's going to eat them.
I have a meat stick here.
Yeah, that's what their diet in it. So their diet is a mixture of some omnivore pellets. They've got a little bit of fruit and veggies in there. They've got some ground up insects. They've got whole crickets and mealworms. And they've got a little bit of a bird-based diet that we have too, the ground meat product that gives them some good solid protein. So they're going crazy, as you can see. They really, really find food with their face. They're rooting animals, so they're going around digging. And then once they find food, they eat it very fast.
Whoa, Greta in Ohio. Hi, Greta.
And Ocala.
Hi, from Ocala, Florida. Awesome.
Ocala.
Logan wants to know what they eat, and Mystery was just telling you about that.
Oh, yeah.
And they are eating right now. Mr. E stuffed their diet into a tube to make them work a little bit because, you know, captive animals need to use their brain a little bit more than normal than just eating off a plate. So sometimes we do stuff like this. And we put these logs in here this morning. Does anybody know why we put logs in here for an armadillo?
Yeah.
What on earth do they want to eat in a log? Are they eating the wood? What are they eating? Fungus? What do you think? Type your answers in and let us know. All right, get some good questions coming, you guys. Excellent questions. Lucy and Bella. Hello, Lucy and Bella.
So someone asked about
Maddie and Derek.
their teeth. Their teeth are really amazing. This is a reproduction of a skull. And so you can kind of see their top jaw, their skull, and then their bottom jaw. And they have these little peg-like teeth. So they're kind of round and they kind of stick up. And those are used for crushing and then kind of breaking their food into smaller pieces as they crush it up, and then they'll swallow everything in kind of a big gob together. But they'll store some food in their mouth. They're not really very grinding teeth for good vegetable eating. They're not going to eat a lot of vegetable matter or fruits, but they are going to eat mostly insects and those larvae that we talked about. And they're going to eat quite a bit of earthworms as well. They may eat some small vertebrates like amphibians. They might eat bird eggs. In Florida, it's a really big problem because they've learned how to dig up sea turtle nests, and they actually eat a lot of sea turtle eggs in Florida. So they're actually trapping them and removing them from those areas where they're causing a really detrimental impact. So really cool teeth.
You know the program, and usually we walk her before we use her because she'll poop. Like just walking kind of, it gets everything moving, right? And so I was watching her walk around, and all of a sudden she's digging and she's chomping on something. Like I'm like, what on earth are you eating? Because it was like big, you know, her mouth was open really wide. She had dug up a spadefoot toad and was eating it. Eat toads too. Ashley wants to know, how big do they get? Well, the 9-banded armadillo, this is pretty much, they're kind of small on the 9-banded side.
Yeah.
But you know there's an extinct species of armadillo that they say the burrow was so big you could drive a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, they're as big as a small car and weigh just as much as well.
Into their burrow.
Yeah.
But they're extinct, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Chesney and Clay from Long County. Where's Long County? Is that California? Long County. Oh, in Georgia.
Georgia.
Awesome. All right, we got teeth question.
Oh.
Can't really read, Don, because you're.
I got it. I got it. Okay.
Finnegan.
Okay. My favorite thing about armadillos. Armadillos are like really interesting because they have these habitat restrictions. They're typically bordered by really deserty areas because they need a lot of water, and then also like cold areas, but most importantly water. And so water is really interesting. If there's big flowing rivers, they don't have a really easy way to cross them, but they can swim, and they can swim in kind of two main ways. One of the ways is just a normal doggy paddle, just across a small creek or maybe a pond. They can doggy paddle. If they need to, for a bigger area, they'll actually gulp oxygen into their body and blow up their stomach with air and their small intestines so that they float, and then they can doggy paddle for farther without using up all their muscles. If it's a really small area without any current, they actually will just hold their breath and walk on the bottom of the water, through the water, and then up out the other side. They don't even act like the water's there. They just walk through it and come out the other side. That's because armadillos don't float. They have very little fat in their body, and they have a ton of weight in that shell. So they've traded that off for the ability to float. So no fat in their body, very little floating going on.
That's a good questions coming in, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching our live streaming of armadillos, 9-band armadillos. Hi, Mimi Isabella. Hello, Cheryl in Pennsylvania. Awesome job. Liam wants to know, why do they have such a long tail? I'm going to show you when I pick them up what they do with their tail. Okay, watch closely.
And while Michelle's doing that, you can think about some dinosaurs that you might have seen in the past with long tails.
Can you guys see that? Are you guys getting a good view of this?
What's their lifespan? They can live a long time.
A long time.
Especially for the size of mammal that they are, they live a very long time. 20 years is not uncommon, and maybe up into the low 20s in captivity. So very long time, and they're going to reproduce fairly quickly, and they have kind of quadruplets every time they have a litter. So 4 babies every time. And those are distinctly one individual baby that's kind of like a quadruplet that like you would be having quadruplets that are twins, or quadruplets that are exactly the same. So
Yeah.
it's like,
So I have a
it's like
question.
amazing.
I have a question.
It's mind blowing.
This is a question.
Yes.
Okay, they have quadruplets. Do they have girls, boys, or mixture?
Ooh, they're polyembryonic.
So let's see if you guys can guess if they
So
come
if they're
out
polyembryonic
50-50,
and they
boy, girl, or if they become
evolve.
out all girl or all boy.
So one egg
Splits into
divides 4 times. So the original egg. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, so you guys are coming up with some really good questions.
Joy says, how heavy are they? They weigh about 5 to 8. Sometimes they're a little bit bigger. Depends on if they're getting a lot of good food.
Okay, so Atticus is on Tybee, and he wants to know who's their closest relative.
Ooh.
So, and then I'm going to answer that with the other question. So I can see. Lily, how many species of armadillo? So there are 21 extant, word of the day,
Mm-hmm.
extinct.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know extinct,
Living in the wild.
you know extant,
Extant,
is opposite. So there's 21 species of armadillo in South America and not North America.
There's one in North America.
Yeah. Well, Mexico might have a
And
few
like
more.
Central America
It's considered North America.
has like 7, I think, or 8.
Yeah.
And then
21.
down-
So their closest relative would be another species of armadillo, whether it's the 3-banded, the short-nosed armadillo, the pink fairy armadillo, the giant. The pink fairy and the giant armadillo are critically endangered species, and those are like the extremes on the armadillo world. So the giant armadillo can weigh up to 135 pounds. Big armadillo. Crazy, right? And the pink fairy would fit in the palm of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is kind of... And it is the only one that we have in North America, okay? And it does not roll in a ball like the 3.
And it doesn't even have 9 bands here.
What are their defense strategies? So because they have predators, like Sean and Leah wants to know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what kind of animals do you? Some animals do. They call a possum on a half shell. It's terrible. Not gonna say that again. So we state.
Coyotes, yeah.
Coyotes are a good predator of an armadillo. Foxes.
Bobbers?
Bobcats, absolutely, our most common feline that we have in North America. Bobcats.
Dogs?
Dogs. How about big raptors?
Maybe a great horned owl grab up a baby armadillo. Yeah.
Oh, and someone wants to know there are armadillos in Indiana. Actually, the record, they said they have found them as far north as Indiana,
Yeah.
but they don't make it up there because,
Yeah.
like today, there's 3 inches of snow on the ground.
Just chilling.
And their diet is mostly insects. They eat insects. 90% of coleopteran beetle larvae, those little white alien grub-looking things that you find in the soil. So if you have a frozen ground, you're not going to find a grub.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Who did you pick up?
I picked up Rocky. She's our girl here. So many great questions. Okay, Carrie and somebody else wanted to know, do they really carry leprosy? So let's do a quick lesson since we're talking about infectious diseases in our world these days. Leprosy is a bacteria that creates a disease, Hansen's disease and leprosy. It's Mycobacterium leprosii. And because this animal is rooting around in the ground, they have a really poor immune system. They're low core body temperature. They pick up lots of protozoan diseases and bacterial diseases pretty easily. And someone did find out that they were infected by leprosy by eating an undercooked armadillo. So they can carry leprosy in their body, but usually it's their flesh, and you're going to get it from eating undercooked armadillo.
You're fine.
And someone asked us, are they considered a rabies vector? Now, nature is always going to throw exceptions. This is not considered a rabies vector. Rabies vectors have a high body core temperature. Their body core temperature, it's about 86 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're 98, right? And then cats and dogs like getting up into the hundreds. So it's the hotter body temperature, the raccoons, the foxes, the bats, the skunks that carry that disease more readily. They can incubate that virus and keep it going. So I wouldn't consider them a rabies vector, but is it possible? Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I can't say no, never.
I mean,
nature will throw exceptions.
It'd also be weird if you got bit by an armadillo.
It would be really weird.
Because of how they act and because of where their teeth are, be very, very odd.
Sure, good
They also, the people asking about the burrowing, if you might have seen, they have really large nails, and those spade-shaped nails are very, very good at digging, and they can actually dig really fast. So in a couple minutes, they can dig a hole that's... They really wanted to get away from a predator, and they knew the predator was coming pretty fast. They might be able to get to a nearby burrow, or they might be able to run into some deep cover, dig a quick burrow, cover themselves with dirt, have only their back exposed, which is the hardest part of their body, and really protects them against predators.
And so there are some anecdotes about them using gopher tortoise burrows and
Yep.
kind of stealing the show from them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll take another burrow if it's available. But you know, don't think armadillos are lost. They don't typically share a burrow either. Usually only during breeding season while they'll search each other out. They're trying to burrow right now. I'm going to do an impression of an armadillo burrowing. Okay, first of all, I'm not going to use my face, but I'm going to use my face, and I'm going to use my body, and I'm going to... And then sometimes I'll get my back feet going. Hey, armadillo. You want to show us how it's done? I think they want some more food, Mystery. Maybe we should get their little plate of food out. So they're so good at burrowing. So if you think about that, do you think we could find them in the mountains of Georgia? Think about it. Give me your answers. Of live streaming is that we get to talk and interact with you. It's super awesome. So hi Grady and Bennett, my friends. They say no snow here, but it's cold.
Oh.
Sorry. It's a little chilly today here at 60s and overcast and rainy. So they're eating their food. Can you guys catch that on the camera or not? Maybe we should pull it back a little bit more.
Fiona and Chesney asked about, are they nocturnal? Question that depends on the season and the temperature. So what's really interesting is they only like to be in that certain temperature zone that we talked about. And if it's too cold for them, it's going to be probably better for them to be up the warmest part of the day in the afternoon. So like in the spring and the fall, we see them more in the afternoon. Here now, as we start to warm them in the evening more, or maybe even at night if it's too hot. So they'll come out when the temperature gets to be around 60, 65 degrees or warmer. If it's up above 90, 95, down.
Yeah, but if you guys can catch that on the video, they're chowing down.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to watch them. They have a really long order that they belong to.
The Northlands have the anteater tongue.
But these guys here, they have to throw the food back, right? Because that's where their conical teeth are. So you watch their little head, their heads do like a little bobbing while they're eating. I love this fact about them. They have ears like a rabbit. Shell like what animal?
Turtle.
Turtle. So the Aztecs call this group of animals turtle rabbits.
Turtle.
Love it. Yeah. Hi Fiona, she sees them at Fort Pulaski. I do too.
Turtle.
Turtle rabbit. Audrey, do they have good hearing? Yeah, better than vision.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But what's their #1 sensory world out there, everybody? Let us know. What is their sensory world that they live in?
They also have feel too. Their sense of touch is really good because they have this really long beard on their face. Even the ladies have beards, and they're rooting around. If an animal gets uncovered and they miss it with their eyes and they don't smell it, but it's wiggling, their little sensors will pick that up and they'll be able to grab it up and eat it. So really cool that they have those very sensitive hairs underneath their body, and then around their face they have a lot of them.
Yeah, so their #1 sensory world is driven by their nose, their olfactory, their sense of smell. They can smell a beetle grub 6 inches under soil, like half of a foot underneath the soil, and they can dig down and unbury that thing before you can say armadillo. Their head is like a shovel. Gets through there. How someone wants to know. Oh my God, if you haven't seen that. Super cute. You gonna do an impression,
They do this
Mr.
little
E?
hook and tuck.
Tuck into
Ow.
backward scooch like this.
It's very, very funny. They like to move hay that way. Right now that they have a plastic, and then they'll fill that with hay and soil, stay nice and warm. But in the wild, they would use grasses and things. And
Hi, smell yay, Darlene, Marsha, and Melissa. Good job, you got it right. So let's talk about sensory different and why do we get hit by cars all the time?
Yeah.
Because they're.
I know. Wait.
Well, armadillos don't smell cars coming,
Nope.
right? They don't see cars coming.
Mm-hmm.
They might hear a car, maybe. So their first instinct, if there's trouble, is to run as fast as they can. But if it's too late because something is that amazing superpower that they have.
No.
Who
this is
knows?
super
Their superpower. What they can do that is a defense strategy, which doesn't work for them all the time. And anybody out there know what they do?
cool. I like to say that they can do something that's similar to what Superman can do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Able to leap tall buildings in a
No,
single bound?
just small humans. Leap small humans in a single bound.
Okay, so if these were wild armadillo and they're not, sometimes you can, if the wind is blowing your scent away and they're not really focused on what's going on, and if you walk up to an armadillo and you try to touch that position, 4 feet. And up about this tall. And so think about that. If I'm a dog or a predator and I'm on top and I'm like this, I'm going to get punched with their big, hard, bony plates. And then I'm going to the birds are going to be swirling around my head. I'm going to be like, ooh, what happened to me? And then the armadillo is going to boogie and scoot away as fast as they can. Now think about that with a car situation.
Yeah.
Doesn't work out so well. True story, I've actually had people tell me that they have had armadillos jump up and punch their gas tank underneath their car and destroy their gas tank, $600, $1,000 fix. And then I've also had one person tell me they drove a Mini Cooper and they had an armadillo almost clear their, jumped up and hit the back roof of their car. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Marie Rodriguez, hello. Do you know I can't read that. Worry when they will jump when you reach down to pick them up. So our armadillos are wild. They are used to us being in here and around, so they've kind of lost the jumpiness. But we did have one, we had an armadillo, I don't know if it was Houdini or Bronco, one of the boys, one time. I came in to get him, and he didn't want to come. And so I was reaching around to get him, and he started sucker punching me on the ground in my hand into the. So there's only one time that's ever happened.
Yeah, they're very strong, and it's important to remember that an animal's weight is beneficial to them when they're thinking about how they attack a predator. So if you think about getting dropped on your foot or thrown up in your face, that's going to hurt really bad. So
they're digging a burrow pretty quickly right now, doing the back feet shuffle, the front feet, back feet shuffle. I don't know if I can not let them do that just yet until this program's over. Maureen wants to know, what do you do if you too much? If they're in your garden, or if they're digging up, remember they're not going after your plants necessarily, they're going after the insect larvae that are in the soil. They're super easy to trap. You can just find a burrow and then put a trap right on the mouth of the burrow and they will walk right up into it. And you just don't want to relocate them just anywhere. I don't know exactly what to say about relocation. Maybe somebody can speak up about that. Oh, Melissa wants me to sing the Armadillo song.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I remember
I
the
wrote,
verses.
and I sing it. It's kind of educational. And it goes, armadillo, armadillo, sniffing all around. Armadillo, armadillo. We'll put a video on it.
Yeah, we'll put a video up.
Make
Yeah.
you famous.
Armadillos are amazing with their jumping capabilities, but they're also really, really good at running. And I think it's super amazing to think about how they run so fast with as heavy as they are, covered with that bony plate. So,
There they go.
could you, give me a thumbs up, if you think you could win in a foot race against an armadillo? Give me a thumbs up if you think you could win. And then I'm gonna wait. Thumbs down, thumbs
I
down,
don't
thumbs
think I
down.
could.
They're about 3 to 4 times faster than a human. They can go as fast as your car drives around in like a residential neighborhood, up to 30 miles per hour, maybe 35 on a short sprint. So they're sprinters to get away from those predators, and then they're gonna be diggers to get away from that kind of secondary threat if a predator was able to chase and keep up with them. So very fast, very, very fast.
Yes, the little armored one. So we did say this is the 9-banded, right?
Yeah.
And so you can count their bands next time you come visit us and see. There might be sometimes 9 to 11. There's not
Yeah,
always
these guys are
9.
8 actually. is
Well,
what.
it depends on if you count the back one a band or not.
Yeah, so the middle bands in the U.S. we have 8-banded
They're gone.
armadillos because of where they were introduced from. The 9-banded armadillo is more like Central America. In the northern region, we have the 8-banded in kind of Mexico. And then if we think about going down into South America, we get more bands down there. So 9-banded armadillo is really interesting misnomer for some of our northern individuals who have less bands than 9.
Okay, I just want to show you something. You can see this? Can you see this? Okay, so an armadillo is also are really hard to turn over.
Oh yeah, you can't flip
You
them.
can't flip an armadillo. If you have hands, you can, but if you don't have hands, you're a dog. They're so low to the ground, they hold the ground. Why do they want to do that? Why do they want to protect that belly? Anybody know out there? All right, Jessica wants to know, my mom has issues with armadillos digging up her yard. What could she do to keep them entertained? And it says hard.
So armadillos are interesting in that, like we said, that they're going to be rooting around. And so what humans do is they plant these amazing green lawns, and they have these beautiful lawns, and then the grubs move in and they're like, ooh, a beautiful buffet.
Yeah.
So something that you can do that we don't necessarily subscribe to here at Oatland because we hate to kill living things a ton, but you can put a grub X down on your lawn. That'll kill the grubs off. If the material goes away, they probably will go away as well.
Yeah.
It becomes a real problem. The only would be to trap them and then remove them.
Remove them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I can't see who it is. Jason, are they related to opossums?
Hmm.
Not in the order. They're
No,
not in the
they're
same
definitely
order. They're in the same phylum.
Yeah. I don't know if they're in the same class.
Yeah, they're Mammalia.
They're mammalia.
class.
So they're in the same class, not the same.
And they're in, so they're
Order.
They're not in the same order.
Yeah.
The order is Cingulata, and Cingulata, like Eric
Mhm.
said earlier, are the sloths, anteaters, and armadillos.
Mhm.
Opossums are in their own group of order.
Yeah.
Um,
They're didelphid.
Marsupialis.
Yeah.
Fiona wants to know, why don't they have armor on their belly?
Ooh,
Gosh,
yeah.
Life would be really, really hard if you had armor on your belly, right?
Yeah.
For giving birth or for other bodily functions.
Or for nursing your young.
Nursing your young, yep, because
Yeah.
they are mammals.
Mhm.
Even though they're not covered in hair, Mr. E did say earlier they have whiskers and they do have a little bit of hairy belly.
And in the exposed
Let's see if
skin
I can
in
show
between
you.
their bands, they actually do have hair there as well. So they're a hairy individual, even though they
I'm
might
wearing
not
gloves
look like
because
it.
they're dirty, not because I don't like it. Okay, see the little hairs on his little belly? Oh, it doesn't like it, so his belly. His little whiskers. Oh, calmness. And there are little hairs. I know the lighting isn't great, but you you can see that. There, okay. Okay. I want to bring you way back here so you can watch you. Why don't you go through these logs? I gave you these logs.
They're like, we're tired, we ate. They want to go for a nap. If you're an active animal, you're active because you're doing a few things, mainly trying to find food. If you got all your food found, you just go to sleep. So I think we can learn a lot of lessons from them as well, right?
Yeah, they just sleep a lot.
Just relax. Hang out.
Whoa, there they come. All right. So we have a Savannah Chatham County Public School System student here in the film degree at Savannah Arts Academy here filming for us. Maddie, thank you so much for coming today. She is working her degree at Savannah Arts really well with us here. She's getting to use it. We want to thank our FOO members, all of you out there, and our board members that are here helping us every week to make this happen. We want to tell you that Savannah Chatham County Public School System is going to be hosting a channel.
Oh yeah, this is super cool.
Channel. And you can find educational materials if you're looking for stuff to do with your little ones at home. And this video hopefully will be on there as well.
Yeah.
We are also we have a YouTube channel that we're working on, and these videos will be posted there as well.
Maybe you'll get a musical number or two on there.
Oh yeah,
Miss
maybe.
C.
Well, Mr. E helped me write these songs too, you know.
Look, it's channel 195.
What?
195.
How do you find channel 195?
I just was reading the number on there. Comcast.
Comcast.
195.
All right, all you cable people out there, get on channel 195 and watch our Savannah Chatham County Public School System. I wish you could watch what's going on over here. There's a lot of dirt flying through the air.
Yeah, they're digging like
some
crazy.
Burrowing going on. So don't fear the 9-banded armadillo.
Yeah.
They're harmless. They are not going to transfer diseases to you unless you try to eat them. They might tear a garden up a little bit, but they're going to help you ultimately get the grubs out that eat your lawn. So, like Mr. E said, you could grub X if you want to get rid of them. I'm not a big proponent of pesticides and insecticides because you don't discriminate against other insects as well.
Yeah.
The armadillos are super burrowers. They are moving further north as the climate lets them. They're weather dependent. They need to have nice, soft, buttery soils to burrow in. And that was our animal today.
And we just want a few favors from you guys. Make sure you share if you like this video. Make sure also to give us suggestions on what animals you'd like to see that we haven't done yet. Or maybe even just topics. Maybe you want to know about trees or fungus or building shelters in the woods or learning how to, I don't know, all those things in our summer. We'd love to teach them to you as well.
Yeah. So share this with your friends and keep coming back for more Fooventures.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe.